Nationalismus raus aus den Köpfen! Nationalismus raus aus den Köpfen!
This is what the fight over immigration in Europe looks like to much of the world. Dresden, Germany is center stage for the anti-Muslim group Pegida, which surged in membership after the Charlie Hebdo attacks in Paris. Today's protest is the largest of the year, thanks to a visit from Dutch politician Geert Wilders, one of Europe's biggest critics of Islam.
Wir haben genug von der Islamisierung unserer Gesellschaft.
Geert Wilders' speech is over. He said some pretty controversial things. He said that not all Muslims are terrorists, but all terrorists are Muslims. This is a much larger turnout than we expected. There's a whole bunch of people who are anti-Pegida on the other side of that hill. If, once this lets out, those two groups of protesters meet, there's probably going to be an issue here.
With one of Europe's strongest economies and a generous welfare safety net, Germany is by far the most popular destination for refugees. The country is scrambling to accommodate a surge in asylum seekers, 200,000 in 2014, up from 70,000 just 2 years prior. To house them, small towns and cities across the country are being asked to take their fair share, and not all the locals are warm to the idea. The Ministry of the Interior says there were 170 attacks on refugee centers last year, a threefold increase from the year before. Here in Troglitz, a small town not far from Dresden, a new asylum center to house 40 refugees was nearly finished when a fire broke out inside the complex. No one in the town was willing to talk to me about what happened, not even these police keeping a 24-hour watch on the building. The arsonists responsible for this attack are unknown, but the authorities blame neo-Nazis. The Troglitz arson isn't the first attack on asylum centers in Germany, but it's not making it any easier for the German government, which is running out of adequate places to house asylum seekers. I've been making numerous requests to visit asylum centers, all of which were denied. But here in Dahlem, a short train ride north of Berlin, I met a Syrian man who agreed to show me his living conditions inside one of the centers, if we agreed to hide his identity. The visit was short-lived.
Das ist so unkorrekt, ja?
The Syrian refugee tells me life inside is frustrating, that it's tough sharing the bathrooms with 300 people, and that having multiple ethnicities and cultures side by side in tight living conditions sparks constant conflict.
ما في أي نوع من أنواع الحياة يعني بس بتاكل تشرب وبتنام هذا اللي موجود هون.
There's another symptom of planned refugee centers: cultural isolation. Some Germans are trying to deal with this problem directly by inviting refugees into their homes. Jonas Kakoschka founded a non-profit called Refugees Welcome, a crowdfunding platform to subsidize rooms for refugees in the apartments of native Germans.
Das Grundkonzept sieht vor, dass Leute die Möglichkeit bekommen, aus der Massenunterkunft auszuziehen, weil Massenunterkünfte sind häufig außerhalb der Städte und sorgen somit dafür, dass keine gesellschaftliche Teilhabe möglich ist für die Geflüchteten.
Jonas lives with Bakari, a refugee from Mali.
The first moment I was sleeping first in the street, Then the police came and asked me, "What are you doing here?" Then I said, "I'm here. I come from Italy yesterday, so I am new here. I'm looking for a place to sleep." I feel like I'm very lucky.
The play is called Letters Home. It's sending letters back about the situation here in Germany.
In Berlin, a group of young refugees use theater to channel their experiences in the country. They call themselves Refugee Club Impulse.
So basically you're communicating through art to try and start a refugee debate.
Yeah, this is it. There's not many places that refugees feel welcome. They don't know any place, no one tells them. So it's a club for refugees, organized by refugees for refugees.
With half of Syria's population displaced and conflict throughout the Middle East and North Africa, it's not clear when the flood of refugees coming into Germany will subside. Arson attacks on refugee centers continue, and Parliament has approved new legislation to tighten refugee status requirements.
جيت هنا يا ريتني ما طلعت ومرغم وغصبا عني اني ابقى واستحمل. طيب استحمل الى متى؟ الله اعلم.